It's the week before a major project launch. The deck is polished, the data is solid, and the client meeting is set for Monday. And still, there's this little voice whispering, just tweak it one more time. Double check that slide. Don't mess this up. Sound familiar? Welcome to my mini training on how to overcome and embrace a new way to handle this plague of perfectionism. I'm Christina. Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. And I really hope I offer you a couple tools within this quick training that will help you with perfectionism. So if what I just described resonates with you, that need to constantly tweak, and second guess and doubt whether you're ready or not, and doubt whether it's good enough or not, that's perfectionism at work, not as ambition, but as a form of anxiety disguised as excellence. And we call it high standards, attention to detail, taking pride in our work. And sure, it starts there, but when we can't hit send, can't rest, or can't feel satisfied, no matter how much we do, that's not excellence. That's fear. It's the fear of being seen as less than perfect, the fear of not being enough, the fear of losing control. And here's the truth. Perfectionism doesn't make us better. It makes us brittle. It robs us of presence, of creativity, and genuine connection. Perfectionism is a pattern, and patterns have a tendency to get us the very opposite of what we want. They are fascinating. So perfectionism isn't a personality trait. It's a pattern, which is a learned strategy that is designed to help us feel safe, accepted, and or worthy. And maybe you grew up in a family where praise came through achievement. Maybe your workplace rewards performance over honesty. And maybe you learned that mistakes meant disappointment. Whatever the root, perfectionism once protected you. And that's important to honor. It worked until it didn't. Because while that pattern may have helped you excel, it often keeps you stuck in overdrive. That's why you're here. Editing that email over and over preparing for a presentation, or downplaying your wins because they don't feel big enough. So, question is, how do we break it? We don't force ourselves to stop striving. We learn to strive differently, with awareness, with compassion, with balance. And I'd love to share 3 practical ways to soften perfectionism. And the first one is to shift from proving to contributing. And these are all mindset pieces. But before your next meeting or project, ask yourself, am I trying to prove my worth or contribute my value? Good question. Proving says they need to see I'm good enough. And contributing says I have something meaningful to offer. This simple reframe moves your nervous system from tension to trust, from fear to flow. And number 2, build a good enough practice. Perfectionism thrives on endless doing, so start creating completion habits. And this will be a stretch for those of us that want things to be perfectly beautiful. Set a timer. When you're working on that project, set a timer. And when it goes off, hit send. I know, that's a big one. Choose one task a week, and when you get it to 80%, decide that that is okay. And celebrate those small wins and literally say it out loud. This is enough for today. And enough is truly enough. And it feels uncomfortable at first. I guarantee you it will feel uncomfortable because it's unknown. And unknown is uneasy. Unfamiliar, it feels unsafe. And it might even feel like you are lowering your standards, especially if you're a perfectionist. And you're not. This is retraining your brain to value progress over the polished. And number 3, ask the interrupt question. When you feel that tightening, the urge to control, fix, or edit it again, pause and ask, what would this moment feel like if I let it be enough? That one question helps shift our physiology. It quiets the inner critic, lowers our cortisol, and brings us back into our body. Because when you soften the pressure, your nervous system opens the door for creativity and authentic confidence to walk back in. And not long ago, I spent a large portion of an afternoon re-recording this short video that I was trying to create. And every take had a flaw, a word stumble, a slight shift, hair in the wrong place. And by take whatever number it was, I realized this wasn't about the video. It was about me trying to control how I would be seen and trying to sound perfect instead of being real. So I stopped. I uploaded the imperfect video. And guess what happened? That video had the most engagement I've ever had because people don't connect with perfect. They connect with presence. So I'd like to nudge around a new definition of perfect. What if perfect isn't flawless? What if perfect is presence? What if it's simply this moment as it is? The meaning that runs long but leads to a breakthrough, that's perfect. The messy brainstorm that sparks a fresh idea or doesn't, that's perfect. The authentic, honest, unfiltered version of you showing up anyway, that's more than perfect. That's real. Here's a method that I love, and I call it the SOFT method. SOFT. So grab a pen, you'll want to capture this. S, see it. Notice the tension, the overthinking, the urge to fix. Awareness is compassion in action. And until we have awareness, we cannot change it. And I suspect you already have awareness. You're here. That's wonderful. The seeing it is about seeing it in all the moments. Perfectionism isn't just going to show up in the workplace. It's going to bleed into other areas of life. I know this to be true. Patterns cover the gamut. So just noticing when you have this desire, need, urge to make things just right, just start to notice it. Awareness is the first step. Back to our SOFT method. O, own it. Name it gently. This is a pattern. That's how it's like, oh, there it is again. This is the pattern. Naming it gives us space to choose differently. F, feel it. Drop into your body and ask, what would enough feel like right now? Can I be okay with this being enough right now? And the brain is going to automatically say no. No, 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 no. What is new and different and unknown puts us into high alert. It activates the amygdala. That is the fight, flight, freeze, fawn system. It will elevate our nervous system. But what we can do is take a breath and feel it. Feel it for what it is. And really go back to that question. What would enough feel like right now? If I could perceive this as enough, would that be okay? And you'll feel the shift. Your shoulders drop. Your breath can slow down. And we can step into that prefrontal cortex where we can think logically and reason and see the truth for what it is. And T, tend to it. Reframe it with love. That's what tending to it means. And reframing it would sound like, what would I do if I believed this was already enough? Then do that thing. Rest, delegate, send the message, move on. This SOFT method may not feel like a tangible enough to do. And here's what I've learned. Awareness changes everything. This SOFT method helps us create awareness around this pattern that is not serving us. And what awareness does, it opens up the ability to start to shift it. Because if we're not liking something and we start to see it, we can start to undo it. We can start to replace the thoughts. We can change our language around it. Noticing is freeing. That is the key. So take this SOFT method and recognize that it may not be the perfect solution, but give it a try, because when we start to see these moments, we can indeed shift them and they do soften. Here's the thing: a pattern is essentially a habit. And habits function from our subconscious mind. It's an automatic way that we show up. When we are afraid to hit send, what's going through the mind is absolutely automatic. And when we can start to notice it, we are essentially interrupting it. And we must interrupt the pattern in order to create a new one. I hope that makes sense. And I think the real takeaway today is that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You don't need to be polished to be powerful. You don't need to get it all right to make an impact. And the irony, that moment we stop trying to be perfect is the moment we become magnetic. Because real connection, the kind that inspires trust, collaboration, and growth, only happens when we're human enough to be seen. So this week, let good enough be your new version of perfect, not as a lowering of the bar, but as an act of self-trust. Because you're not here to impress, you're here to express. And that, just as you are, is more than enough. I hope this mini little chat about perfectionism gave you a gift, the gift to start to notice and to also recognize that sometimes we do hit send and sometimes it's not perfect. And that in and of itself lets everybody else know that we're human and we're real. And that is a powerful tool when it comes to connecting in the workplace, at home, with family, with friends, with people we love. Thank you for taking this training. Thank you for listening. I hope it's given you a gift and some insight. Keep going. You've got this.